And we are setting up. As you can see on your screen, there is a third party who is being sent this wonderful YouTube uh, link. And Tim, can you take it from here?
Yeah, hi everyone. Welcome tonight to this workshop that we're doing. Yesterday, actually, October 8th, was our kickoff reading for the next uh, season, I guess, if you will, of Art in the Basin. It's our 8th year, if you can believe that, in existence. We do our readings in the Bronx, New York, at Monomore Coffee and Wine, corner of 238th Street and Broadway, easily accessible from the 1 train. You're always welcome to come up. We also do a Zoom version of every event. So you're welcome if you're out of town to join us that way. Sam is a longtime friend of Art in the Basin. He showed up at our reading series, maybe about the second or third time we ever held it in 2017. And so he became a great friend of ours. We've always been grateful for his support. He is a published author, a multiple award-winning poet with the Bronx, how is it? The Bronx recognizes its own grants that appear every year from the Bronx Council on the Arts. And he's just a talented writer. He's a workshop facilitator, and as well, he's just an all-around good guy and neighbor. So let me just turn things over to Sam, our workshop leader tonight.
Hey, everybody. Um, Thank you all for coming. And thanks to Art in the Basin. It's true that I guess I've been a big support for Art in the Basin, but equally importantly for me, Art in the Basin provided a space for me to uh, to do my poetry and share it and get feedback. And it was absolutely instrumental in the past 7, 8 years of my writing career to get that help and that space to work in. And it changed the way I write, and I think it changed me for the better. And I'm really grateful to Art in the Basin. So I encourage all people to go down and check them out. The workshop today is set up that I see that 2 people sent in pieces to be looked at and commented on, and I wonder if we could just go around and maybe everybody could just say who they are and maybe why they came to the workshop and what they might like to get out of it. Um, so can I ask maybe Anne to go first and just introduce herself, and then we can go around and we can all say hello to each other?
Sure. So my name's Ann Humans. I live in Columbia, Missouri, and found out about Art in the Basin from Eventbrite, Zoomland, pandemic era, trying to hear human voices. Uh, I've written poetry on and off a very long time, and I signed up here because I work as an editor in my salaried life, and that is though primarily nonfiction that I'm dealing with, and the challenge of turning those skills around to me and to creative work I wrangle with. Um, One of my tactics is I write in this tiny, tiny book for my poetry, which means that I'm less invested in the look. So things like line breaks, I can let go of because I know I'm in this tiny book. So I'm here for some feedback on a kind of surrealist thing that I wrote and see if anybody understands it and what I could do, what kinds of things people do when they are revisiting their work.
Thank you. Thank you very much for coming, really. And but I mean, for everybody who's here, like, it's really a kind of a, at least for me, it's like, it's intimidating to show up. And, you know, we're all like flawed human beings, trying to do something with writing, I assume. And so the purpose of this workshop, that anything that I would like to facilitate, is that, well, we're nice to each other. Like, the basic point is that let's be nice to each other. So when we do comment on each other's stuff, you know, we're trying to be constructive, you know, say something that might be helpful, and especially if we can hear from each writer who is presenting a piece, what they might want to hear, specific questions about their piece, that we can help them, instead of like us just mouthing off about what we think about things. But so maybe Pat, could you maybe introduce yourself next?
Yeah, hi. I'm a full-time freelance writer, also an editor to help bring in some income. Primarily, I write literary nonfiction or essays and poetry as well. I'm having internet problems since last November. They're doing construction work, so it's interfering with the Wi-Fi signal. It won't hold. So I'm working off my phone, and I couldn't share. I couldn't do a screen share on this phone. It won't come out in a way you could see it. So I'm wondering if I could email you so that you could screen share. That's what the tech support suggested, that I email a piece. Of course, if I go,
Absolutely, Pat. You could send it to artinthebasement@gmail.com. I'll put it in the chat. Okay.
okay, artinthebasement@gmail.com. No hyphens, right? No,
Amy?
no dashes.
Amy, are
Wait.
there hyphens in Art in the Basin, the email, the Gmail account?
Wait, I didn't hear you.
Oh, there,
Art,
you see it?
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll go off, but if I don't come back on, it means I lost the link and it didn't work,
Okay.
but I'm going to.
Oh,
We're
there's
waiting
only
for
one
you to
I,
come
by
back.
the way. I'm looking at the chat. It's Art in, oh, there, she corrected it. There's one I, not three I's. So artinthebasin@gmail.com.
Is last night's group, which I went back to, I heard about Art in the Basement from Ron.
I'm sorry, it's Art in the Basin.
Art in the Basin, sorry, not basement. Sorry, I've said that for years and I keep doing the same mistake. Okay, I hope that's not reflective of my writing. All right, Art in the Basin.
Right, yeah, and Pat, we saw you last night.
That's what I was going to say. So I have to do something different. That's what I was going to say if you saw me last night. So I'm glad you guys are back up and running. And thank you. And I'm going to go, well, I'll wait till everybody introduces, then I'll go off and email a piece.
Good to meet you, Pat.
Good to meet you as well. Thank you.
Connie, you want to say hello to us?
Yes, I'm Connie Taylor in Anchorage, Alaska, and I just found you recently on Eventbrite and signed up. I'm a book publisher here, and I've been writing poetry the last couple of years.
Thank you. Welcome. Emma? Emma, are you there? Would you like to say hello?
Yes. Hi. Good evening. So I didn't know how this worked. I thought this was a private Zoom meeting to discuss writing. I didn't know that it was going live. So for that reason, I don't think I feel comfortable to be part of it, but I would like to stay and listen if that's possible.
Of course.
Also, I didn't know that we were supposed to send poems. For whatever reason, I thought that we were gonna share screen them or something for everybody to see them. So anyway, just to say that I had no idea how this worked, and
Yeah. I understand if you don't want to be in that YouTube thing or whatever, that's fine. And if you don't feel comfortable sharing under these circumstances, I understand. And
Is this,
Can I ask you?
Yeah.
is this always so
I'm
public?
sorry.
I think when Art in the Basin does these workshops, they do it with YouTube live streaming. Is that so, Tim?
Correct.
Yeah.
These
Yeah,
are
that's
all
true.
our
We
events.
try and share this stuff as widely as possible for free to everybody. You know, we have skilled workshop facilitators, and we have like brilliant writers who attend our workshops, and as well, you know, our open mics that we do every other Tuesday. And you know, we just try and get the word out. And
Right.
you
So
know,
there's no concerns for intellectual property once
well,
you
you
share.
you always own your intellectual property, regardless of, you know, whether it appears on our, you know, platform or not. And, you know, that's similar to publication, right? I mean, you may have a poem published in a journal or something like that, but you know, the rights always revert to you, and, you know, you're the owner
Oh,
of
yeah, yeah,
the
yeah. No,
poetry.
I
Yeah.
understand that. I just mean
Mhm.
like, yeah, you're out there on YouTube.
Right. And we're not
Yeah.
making any money from this, by the way.
Oh,
You
no, I
know,
understand. Yeah, I'm not worried about you. Yeah. Thank you.
Sure.
Could I
Thank you.
question? I don't see the raised hand for some reason. It's not on my phone, but I wanted to ask you, you stop at 8, yes?
Correct. Directly at 8. So we should get the ball rolling. I do appreciate for anyone who's concerned about intellectual property, technically this is a publication platform. So you're being published. And that way you can say that your piece is, even though it's still in the works, is still your property and has been published, and you have the proof this night on YouTube. You can find my work being published there. So that's a great way to secure your intellectual property.
Can I ask you another question?
Sure.
If the work is counted as published, can you still enter it in a magazine, a journal?
So technically, your work isn't published. This is a published event that is published on YouTube. So it's anything that comes within this publication is secure for intellectual property, because you have proof now that it is your work, and here's the proof of where I first put it out in the world, or the version of it that I put out in the world. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, and Emma, if you would like to share your screen so that we don't have it in our folders, that's completely okay too. So I'm gonna let Sam continue, and we'll work that out once we get to whoever's gonna go. I
So
think we still have some introductions.
yeah, Connie, I'm sorry to have not asked you, but are you bringing a piece in or sharing a piece?
I don't think so. It sounds to me like if it's published here, then it can't be submitted later to some publication that doesn't accept already published works.
No, your piece isn't published here. I'm sorry for the confusion, everyone. This program is being published. So you have a place to revert to if you find that your intellectual property is being used, that you have proof that this is your intellectual property because of the publication that we have here. Does that make sense? So we're not using any of your words or your works or anything. Your intellectual property is your own. You own all the rights to it. Art in the Basin is only giving you the platform to come and work together. But we're also doing it so that the future people who are interested in looking at this workshop can participate on their own, maybe, or figure out, you know, how to better solve their questions about their own poems from maybe something that we came across tonight. Cool.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
I think I'll just be an observer today. Thank you.
Okay, no problem.
And
Thanks for coming,
Shulamit,
Connie.
Shulamit, would you like to introduce yourself and welcome? We don't hear you, Shulamit, if you're talking. maybe Shulamit, I'm not sure if you're there, but we don't hear you. If you could unmute yourself. Oh, mic won't activate, says Shulamit. Okay, and I don't know if you want to submit a piece into the Google Drive, but you'll let us know, I hope. At least the chat. And She Dragon 713, welcome. Would you like to say hello and introduce yourself? She Dragon 17, your mic is muted, I think. Oh. I think it's still muted, She Dragon.
Okay, can you hear?
Cool.
Shulamit, we're having trouble. We're not able to hear you.
Oh, She Dragon. Oh,
Hi there. Now I'm.
aha.
Ah,
Can you hear me now?
yes.
Let She Dragon go. Okay, sorry about that. I'm trying to unmute and it's not working.
Uh-oh.
Shall I go?
Yes, please.
Hi there. I'm in Dayton, Ohio,
Wow.
and I write primarily narrative poetry. And I didn't know anything about this. The Eventbrite logarithm presented you to me, and so I am just learning what this is about. So I did not have anything prepared to bring to you all, and I'm just coasting here to see what you're all about.
Okay, thank you. Welcome. And this is going to repeat in 1 week. So if you want to put in something this evening or next week and want to come back, you're welcome to.
Thank you.
Yep. And She Dragon, have we lost you? Have we found you? Do we get Miss She Dragon or?
I'm having trouble unmuting.
Okay, we hear you now. And then we don't. There may be some technical problem.
Okay, sorry, I'm having trouble unmuting.
Yeah.
I can hear.
Oh, you can. It's funny. I don't.
You don't hear her? I hear her.
Huh.
She said she's having trouble unmuting.
Right. I heard that part, and then I don't hear anything more.
No, now I don't either.
So let's just jump in then, if that's okay, and hopefully, She Dragon, we get you back. Would Anne, would you like for us to look at your poem since you're unmuted, and we have a piece of yours?
Sure.
So I guess I suggest if everybody wants to pull up Anne's piece, Migratory Dreams, that's in that Google Doc place. And I think what I expect that we would do is that all of us participants can go around after Anne can first read her piece. And then maybe she can ask us or tell us maybe what she's interested in getting criticism about. And it could be, Anne, I don't know, you just may want to hear, what do you guys think is fine, but you might have specific questions like when I say, in that fifth line, as the flights grew longer, if you have specific questions, that's fine too.
I'm not seeing a Google box. I sent my piece and that went through okay, I think, but I don't see a place to see Anne's poem.
I put the link in the chat if you can see it. That link we got via email is a folder, and so it.
And I think Amy is now getting it onto the screen.
Oh, good.
All right.
I, um,
So do I go in the link or it's going to show up like a regular screen share?
Amy, are you trying to get?
Yes, I am trying to get it spotlight Anne so she can read it and the thing on. So just give me 1 second.
I think we have liftoff.
okay.
And you're on.
The embryo is pushing against its confines. The sac looks stretchy, but is it? Do I have to fuel its growth along with the fetus? And it's clear, so the thing can see out as well as us seeing in. The wings grow feathers day by day. My mother said she had vivid pregnancy dreams, wild, engrossing narratives that for the first time in her life she could remember. My first dreams, upon feeling the flutter, were of leaving, flying into the horizon like a crane in search of feeding grounds. As the flights grew longer, the embryonic wings grew more defined, feathers instead of fingers, and covering the entire arm where wrist and elbow should be. It gives a little underwater squawk from a curved beak when I awake on the ground, wondering if this is the day it will claw its way out.
Lovely. Thank you. And do you have any specific questions about that?
So one question is just in the first 2 or 3 sentences, it refers to a lot of things. And I wonder, does it just take too long to figure out if what is going on?
Does anybody want to jump in on that? And yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd like to.
Yeah.
Okay, it's beautifully executed piece. What I got mixed up in is she refers to her mother's pregnancy and the vivid dreams, but it's almost like a bird is being. So I don't know if she's speaking metaphorically or if she's actually this is a bird's birth as opposed to a human's birth. And I figured, okay, it's metaphoric and beautifully stated. But then I got confused because it said clawing its way out. A human would more be, well, it's being pushed out, but it would crawl out as opposed to claw out. If it was a bird that had claws, I don't know if the claws are on a newborn bird, but so I'm assuming it's a metaphor. I love that. But if it is a metaphor, and this is just my opinion, I might change the word claw to crawl because babies crawl. But lovely, lovely piece.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I found this to be like a really beautiful poem. I mean, just like the image layered upon image. And yeah, I took it to be metaphorical as opposed to literal. But I found that it I don't know, it grew on me almost immediately. I mean, I'm a parent, right? And, reproduced. I wasn't the one who gave birth, obviously, but just the imagining of the process and this capturing that process in an imaginative way, I thought was really, really excellent. I really enjoyed it a lot.
Anybody else want to comment? Anybody else want to comment? I know Shulamit is writing into the chat and praising it. And She Dragon, I think I saw you trying to pipe in, but I think the muting thing is not working. The unmute, unfortunately. Anybody else want to say anything? So, Anne, I thought, you know, much like what people are saying, that it's really beautiful and as Pat said, really well executed. I don't have any problems in those first lines. The embryo is pushing against its confines. The sac looks stretchy, but is it? I like that. But is it is just a nice, like a hook that pulls me into the piece. Do I have to fuel its growth along with the fetus? And then you have that sort of odd reflection, and it's clear, so the thing can see out as well as us seeing in, which is just a really interesting thing to think about. So like you're an editor and Pat's an editor, and then we got book publishers, we got all sorts of people here who are like very wordy and stuff. And so I think this is like a really accomplished and beautiful piece. There's some things that I guess I feel you could, like, I'm not sure if the idea is like clean up a little bit or something like that. Like you say, grow and grew and grew. Maybe there's like 4 times you use that word grow and grew, and maybe it doesn't. I'm not sure if that bothers you or not, or if you're happy with that doing that, or is there other verbs you could use. Maybe when you got to the thing about my mother said she had vivid pregnancy dreams. And I don't know, maybe, my mother had vivid dreams when she was pregnant. Is a simpler way to get there. Like sometimes but like what I think is beautiful is that it's such a natural conversational speech that you're doing, but you pull us into this really lovely, weird meditation. And I think it's really great, and it works. And I guess with Pat's comment about the human versus the bird thing, and at the end, whether it's crawling or clawing, I guess in my own mind, I went with the idea that it was like a metaphorical, surreal thing that it didn't bother me. I just went with it. I thought like it made sense within the poem itself. And my last comment, Anne, was sort of like I could easily see this being like a series of poems where the next section could be one of your mother's dreams, followed by a further section of your having this child. With the narrator having this child, or what this bird becomes when it comes out of its, womb shell, and where it goes. And then you can kind of, follow that with more dreams from your mother, with more adventures with this, bird human fetus thing. Anyway, thank you very much. It was wonderful. The only other piece I see in here is from She Dragon, and we're having trouble with She Dragon. Are you there, She Dragon?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
At all?
Yeah, we hear you.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Would you like to do your piece now?
Sure. Will someone put it on share screen, or do I need to do that?
Amy will do that into the share screen. And I'm sorry, but I don't want to lose you because your voice is beautiful and we can hear you. But Anne, did you have any like follow-up questions that you wanted clarified or something?
No, that's good. It was good to hear some reactions to it. Thank you.
Had you expected a different reactions?
No, I wrote to a prompt, which was a surrealist painting. So sometimes when you are writing to a prompt, did the prompt give too much information that a reader without it can't get into it? So that was kind of my biggest question. Just getting it full.
Mm-hmm.
Can you get it? So
Yeah. Thank you, Anne. Okay. She Dragon, you're up.
Okay. This is My Elders Are Dying. My elders are dying, and I am helpless. What do you do when prolonging someone's life is also prolonging their discomfort, pain, and misery, and yours? So I need to think, do I take her home and take care of her, this aunt, my least favorite, or do I leave her in the nursing home where she'll be mostly well cared for? Do I try to do my best for her, though she is not, or do I just let her live out the rest of her life, pampered, all needs taken care of, maybe her ideal life? Or do I abandon my life, my teens, my dreams, and take care of a selfish woman who won't even take the necessary steps to improve her own quality of life, to adapt to changed circumstances, stating this is the way she's always lived, precisely why she's where she's at now, back in rehab, second time in less than 2 months, and went out, eventually back again. Inevitable, the doctor said. Should I just Kevorkian her, this stubborn and senseless woman? She is old, 87. She is my aunt. She is not the best of us. She is a fake, a liar. She believes she is entitled. She has earned nothing. Do I take her home and take care of her, or just leave her where she is, knowing that people in nursing homes tend to die faster? My elders are dying, and I am helpless.
Anybody would like to comment? Please do. And She Dragon, do you have any specific questions that you wanted addressed?
Basically, I know that this poem is unfinished, and I'm just wondering, do I actually have to finish it?
Well, my opinion is that it's a dilemma that we of a certain age and our elders who are dying off confront all the time, and it really is something that tears us apart in some ways. And I think you really capture that dilemma quite well. There's a sort of responsibility that you, the speaker, have, or so you think, so you want to believe, towards this person. And then there's this person herself who, is maybe not the best person to be the subject of your care. And again, it's just like a wrenching dilemma. And it's really, really well addressed here, I think. And you look at both sides of the equation, several times this and then that and then this. And I really like that about this poem, the conversation that you know, you're sort of having with yourself, or the speaker's having with herself, him, or himself.
Thank you.
I have trouble with this poem. Because are we talking about the poetry and the execution, or are we talking about the dilemma? So this person is actually, if it's true, a tertiary person in your life. It's not a primary person. There are assumptions like I'm getting an echo, so I'm hearing myself and it's throwing off my rhythm. Sorry. In other words, there are assumptions about what's best for her, or I don't think she's being, okay, I'm just going to take a leap here. I don't think she's being pampered. I don't think a nursing home is pampering. I don't think anybody wants to be in one. Nobody, I think, dreams of being in a nursing home. It's kind of a nightmare. So I have trouble with the word pamper. And there are assumptions about what she wants or why she got there, why she ended up back in rehab is almost a criticism, where I'm sure she didn't intend to go back in rehab. And she seems to be like an independent person that really just wants to live out her last years the way she wants to live them out, her way. And I don't think one can be critical of that. I mean, it's her life and she wants to end it independent and as best as she can. So there are assumptions in that. The writing is fine. The ending is very honest. I thought the ending was excellent. The last two lines are excellent. And it is a dilemma. The whole thing is a terrible dilemma for everybody involved. But then you're questioning Kevorkian, you're questioning Kevorkian, which is, I mean, you're not going to bring her in and kill her, hopefully, right? So yeah, I understand, but she's old is the bottom line. She's old, and that's sad. And her character is one issue. It's not clear why the poet would be taking care of a tertiary person anyway, which is a very generous, selfless act. And yet the author does not want to be doing this. And then it jumps to this very moral issue and how helpless one is to help somebody and watch this going on around them. So it's complicated, to say the least. And they're the two issues about the general philosophy of the poem and the writing. So there's nothing wrong with the writing at all. And as I said, the last two lines are great. This is just my opinion. I mean,
we were going to move on to someone else because we're on a time limit.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Does someone else want to jump in?
This is Emma. I wrote my comments in the chat. I'm just going to say, yeah, I loved your voice. I loved your reading and your cadence as you read it. I loved where the places that you stopped. Not as a way of changing the poem, but as a way of exploring the poem and being curious about certain things. I might try to flush in flush out some of the adjectives like selfish or stubborn or liar. Maybe I would write next to the line for myself moments in which I felt she was that, just to see if they add to the poem or to what I want to say, or if I discover something different. I don't think you should censor yourself. But who cares what I think? I think that, yeah, censoring doesn't work. There are these feelings that we have and we share with others, and they should be out there. I wonder if the other way of exploring it would be to write it from her perspective, just to see if that brings up something. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.
I agree, She Dragon. Oh, I'm sorry. Anne, do you want to go? Oh, just very quickly, I really admire like how strongly this poem is presented. It's not an easy subject to even find yourself in a position like this, and this character is responding correctly in this poem, right? Like this is not somebody who necessarily wants to take on this responsibility, but can see that this is an opportunity for them to step up and be that person that they know they are, which is a caring person, which is a selfless person, you know, like even though these thoughts are very clearly written out and I can see it playing out in your mind, I'm glad it's like encapsulated in a poem, because there's someone out there who's feeling like this right now, right? Like they're put in this position that they may not necessarily want to be a part of. So the only criticism, it's not a criticism, the only comment I have about this poem is that I don't think you need to work on any more of it. And I think you just kind of need a little bit more of not the angry person who has found themselves in this position, but just that little bit of them that's like, you know, like a little compassion in it somewhere, you know? Like this is just like a very confused person, but I want to hear them like kind of come to some sort of understanding that they're feeling this, and there's nothing really that they can do no matter how many ways they may think they can deal with it. But very strong poem, and I actually really enjoy it just as it is, because it speaks profoundly and quite simply to the point. I don't really have any like things that I think you could take out or put in, but thank you for sharing this. This was beautiful.
All right, thank you.
I'm just gonna reiterate what else has been said. I feel like you have a complete set of that situation and responses, and it's a question of, do you want to hone anything or emphasize or change the way you're showing it? The starting and finishing being the same place, I thought was also a great kind of living the word of these dilemmas in our minds tend to circle around a point, and so to be coming back to the same point is very realistic. To the point of showing, not telling, you are showing and we're knowing, and so a specific edit, for example, this in the middle, take care of a selfish woman who won't even take the necessary steps. You could just cut it to and take care of a woman who won't even take the necessary steps. Already showing her selfishness. She believes she is entitled. One of the things I get is that she's entitled to care in spite of her own failure to care for herself. And so there may be a way to rework that, to make that connection more directly, or maybe there's another thing that she feels entitled to. And again, that emphasizes the dilemma of, does our caring and our responsiveness depend on the subject? Or I guess it's the object to whom we're caring, what we're caring for, or do we just care for everything? The difficulty of this is just really visceral when I'm listening to it.
All right, thank you.
And Shulamit,
Thank you. I think one of the wonderful things about this poem is that it is specifically from you, that it's such a strong use of poetry. Somebody else couldn't write this particular poem, and because it is so authentically you, it also resonates for many of us. And so I really like that about it. And I like that it begins with a statement, and then there are so many questions and ruminations, but the bottom line is that you still don't know what to do. You're still helpless. And so I just thought it was really powerful, and that you've made choices about what you want to tell us about this situation, and that the choices are deliberate. And so it just seems that you've taken a lot of care in saying what you want to say. And I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think that's, everybody's really spoken well about it. That's great. I don't think I have much to add. I have generally in workshops, I'm the stupid one. So here's my stupid comment. It was pointed out that, you know, like it starts and ends in the same place, and it's like you don't have to change anything, and this has been a very well received piece and stuff. Personally, I just want to, like, I like the line about, should I just Kevorkian her? And I know the piece of it, if you wanted to go in a different direction, if you wanted to go anywhere, you could certainly have that as a jumping off point and just write an imaginary, you know, however you want to go to Kevorkian this lady, and kind of go with it, like go with that idea, and write that fantasy out. Could be fun. And then I just wondered, like, the last, you know, what did you, because the end and the beginning are the same, with my elders are dying and I'm helpless. I wondered if you went, my elders are helpless and I am dying, was, you know, another, there's something
That's a good one.
very, like, self-compassionate, like that's very like you're dying in this dilemma, you know, she's helpless and you're dying in a way. Anyway, we are getting towards the end and getting towards 8 o'clock. So I'm sorry, Shidrang, do you have any follow-up questions or concerns?
No, I appreciate you pointing that out, that those last two lines echo the first two lines. I had someone tell me this poem is unfinished. So I read through it again, and that was how I ended. And I didn't even realize that it was the exact as the first two lines.
Do you know why you think it's not finished?
Well, because those last two lines, my elders are dying and I am helpless, weren't there. I only recently added it. So it ended with, do I leave her in the nursing home, knowing that people there tend to die faster?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, but that is kind of unfinished because I'm not answering anything. There's just question upon question upon question.
Yeah, I'm not sure what to say. It's kind of your own feeling about how if it's ended or not. I think you could end it at that tend to die faster line also. It's I'm not sure what to say. It's kind of
I
I
like
appreciate
your
everyone's comments.
Sam, I agree with you with the elders are helpless and I am dying in the very beginning, and ending it with my elders are dying and I am helpless.
Mm-hmm.
Because then that sounds more compassionate to yourself too, instead of like just being, well, I mean, I'm just saying yourself. I know this may just be, a work of art from your mind, but it like has more of a like, okay, I get it. you're kind of like ranting to yourself right now, and the ending with you being helpless is perfect. And in the beginning, starting with the like, I'm dying, like, oh, I got to deal with this aunt that I don't want to deal with. What do I do? That I'm dying here, right? Like, that's the phrase. But yeah, I mean, don't get rid of the Kevorkian line. I think it's very strong, and you should definitely not mess with much of the beginning. But I could see how you can inject more She Dragon, and yeah, but those two bookends is what made me really appreciate the line, the poem, because I didn't feel scattered at the end, like helpless. I felt comforted in those two endings. It started this way and then it ended this way. And the ending on the helpless made me realize, like, okay, I get it. What's next? We may not know the answer, but the bookends are exactly like Emma just said. They're brilliant. But I do like Sam's idea of it being my elders are done. My elders are helpless and I'm dying, right? Like that just sounds wonderful. So good idea, Sam. I don't know if you're going to take it, She Dragon, but I think that would give a nice dynamic to the poem.
Thank you both. Thank you both for that. I might have to write a different poem with that in mind.
So we're getting a little bit towards the end, and I just wanted to point out in that Google Drive that there is a document called something like a group poem collaboration or something like that. And if you open it up, everybody can work on this beginning of a poem that I wrote. And you can, what we just did in our workshop was to sort of try and, help each other, help these two pieces kind of, find out where they are, get better, whatever. And if you want to take that prompt, I guess at the bottom, Amy, there's beyond that. That's oh, someone's already gone and done it. Wonderful. Beautiful. And they even put their initials next to the version 2. I'm totally impressed by whoever did that. Gee, so
that would be Connie, correct?
Connie.
No? CTN?
Connie from Alaska? Could be.
Nope, wasn't me.
Okay. Well, somebody did. And good. But I guess it's pretty self-explanatory since someone already figured it out. But you can look at the version 1, and what we all tend to do probably when we read pieces is kind of Photoshop as we read them and we kind of know what we like and we know what we don't like, and we maybe make changes mentally. And I'm just suggesting that we kind of then do that with these versions that are coming up, and, you know, edit them and make a new version and throw it to the bottom of the pile. And you can come, you know, 12 times a day, once a week, whatever you want to do. And then we'll go through some of these next week and see how they came out. So I think we're in like the last minute of this workshop, unfortunately. Thank you all for showing up. I'm not sure then who has other pieces in the pipeline for us to look at, but we can do those first next week.
Yeah, I sent through the email that, you know, through Art in the Basin.
Okay.
I'll
Then
have it loaded
Amy-
by next week.
Amy can get that up next week,
And I sent a poem also.
and Shula
But
did also.
Excuse me, thank you for this. I hope to see you next week, but I gotta go, 'cause I lead a group at 8, which is now.
Beautiful. Okay.
Okay, you all.
Bye, Pat. Thank you.
Evaluations, a 24/7 photo community. It is booming.
All righty. Well, I guess we'll conclude there. Thank you so much, Sam, for hosting this workshop and giving advice and observations and so on and so forth. And thank you everybody else for offering your observations and advice. Very valuable, everything I've heard tonight. And, you know, I will put something in the Google Drive folder myself for next time. And I love the prompt. And I guess we'll proceed from there. 1 week from tonight, 7 o'clock on the, let's see, the 15th. Is my math correct? Or no, the 16th.
16.
Sorry. Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm an English person, not a math person. So yeah. Anyway, the 16th, we'll see you in 1 week.
Thank you, guys. It's a pleasure to meet you all, and see you next week.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.
Hi, Connie. Yes, I will. I sent out the email. It has links on it. So it had the Zoom link and upload your poem here. So you can upload it straight from that button. All right. And thank you so much for being an AITB contributor, encourager. All right. Good night, everyone.
Good night.